everybody. Welcome to another week of The Mix. All of our topics are shaken and not stirred. I'm Steven.
I'm Deb.
And I'm Keith.
All right, so all of June, if you didn't know, was Pride Month. And so to celebrate the ending of Pride Month, we are going to tell our coming out stories.
Have fun.
Don't be so excited. I know. So as you can tell, apparently coming out ain't always easy. So we're doing this for the people who might need to come out. So we have to share our story so that they'll be brave enough to share theirs.
Before we share our stories.
To make it a little easier.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank God.
Shot o'clock.
Usually I don't want this, but today, shot o'clock. All right. Yeah, because, honey. All right.
That's better. Keith.
Keith, you the oldest.
Ooh.
You know, it was harder to come out back then.
He tried that. He really tried that. We are only a month apart. He really tried that. I'm dead. My coming out story. So, my coming out story started in 2006.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after, actually, no, it's 2007.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I graduated 2005. Yeah, it was 2007. And nope, it was the end of 2006. I'm sorry. Yep, to the end of 2006. So, I guess to give a little background, before I even actually started messing with guys, my first had kind of I don't want to say tricked me into doing it, but we were working together.
Okay.
And he told my best friend, who also worked with us, oh, I'm gonna show you he's gay.
Oh.
She told me this.
Wait, but did you know or have any feelings before then?
Did I know I was gay?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but
Okay, okay.
You don't really act on them,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, what's going on? So I was very nervous being around him at work because I'm just like, I don't know what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And child, if you approach me in an unwanted way, I'm going to feel some way. But then his boyfriend came up there and...
What?
Yeah. His boyfriend came up there and I found out his boyfriend didn't like me because he felt like I was...
His man was trying to get you.
Well, I don't know. And so because of that, I was like, oh... Because you don't like me, now I'm going to play into the game.
Oh my God.
I was just that person, And so I ended up playing into the game. Anyway, me and Tim ended up hanging out. We ended up messing around.
All three of y'all?
No. It was just me and my friends.
Somebody else with a threesome.
Anyway, fast forward, we're dating. And
not only did you mess with his man, you
Okay.
we're dating, and my mother's birthday is on Christmas Eve, and so for her birthday that year, she wanted to just have a little thing at my aunt's house, who lived here at the time. And so she was like, oh, you bring your best friend, and, y'all come over, we'll just be at the house playing games and drink or whatever. So I'm like, okay, great. So we go, and I bring him, of course, because we're dating. And
she said, best friend, girl, that's your man.
We're all sitting there, and, no, I'm not going to say all that. So me and my boyfriend at the time were texting each other while we were all sitting there. Me being stupid, thinking, nobody's going to notice that we're texting each other, it's not that noticeable. My aunt is up telling my mom after we left, she goes, they are together or something's going on. And so on Christmas Day, I was at the house with my mom and I was getting ready to drive to California to go hang out with my other family or whatever. And my mom asked me, she says, hey, so you and that boy, are you guys together? And I was like, I laughed and I said, no, girl, are you psycho? No, no. And so she's like, okay. And so I was like, well, why did you ask that? So she told me the reason. I was like, yeah, no. So I leave. And by this time, I've already told my best friend. Now I have to tell my cousins. So I tell my cousins, hey, dating this guy. This is what it is.
Oh my God.
So all of them were like, oh, okay. Everybody's answer was very nonchalant, and it bothered me. Because everybody was just like, okay. Like, we already knew, we were waiting on you, and I'm just like, this is rude. Like, don't just say this to me. And so,
you wanted people to be shocked.
Yes. I needed you guys to be shocked because I was shocked. So I needed you guys to be shocked that this is really happening, and no one was shocked. And so I end up texting my mom because my cousin was like, you have to tell your mom. So I end up texting my mom.
How long after she asked you with this?
This was literally like a day apart.
Oh,
like, it was very fast. It happened very quickly. And so I ended up texting my mom. And so, because at the time, like, communication for me was a really big thing. I didn't know how to communicate at all. So I ended up texting my mom, like, hey, so, you asked me about that guy. We're dating. It's a thing. She never got the message.
Oh my God.
So she calls me. And I'm on the freeway driving. She calls me and she's like, what you doing? I'm thinking in my head, like, girl, you're too happy to have just received the message I just sent you. What is happening? What is happening? So then I'm like, I'm driving. I forgot whose house I was driving to, but I told her. And so I was like, did you get my message? She's like, what message? And so at this point, like, my heart is, like, beating so fast. I'm so nervous. And I'm like, well... So, and I tell her, and she went off on me. It was just like, we raised you better than this. You were raised in the church. You knew better than this. Blah, blah, this and this. Like, went off on me. And literally, I'm like on the freeway, bawling my eyes out. Like, going back and forth with my mom. We're hanging up on each other.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It was crazy. My aunt, who told my mom, she calls me. And she's like, Keith, stop answering your mom's calls. She's like, do not answer another phone call from her. She's like, give her time. She said, it's hard because you're her only son, and we just didn't picture this for you. And so she's like, just give her time. She'll be okay.
Oh my gosh.
And literally, like, for 3 months, I didn't talk to my mom.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Mind you, we lived in the same house.
Wait, are you serious? So, like, when y'all saw each other,
Let's pass each other.
So what made y'all finally talk?
I really couldn't even tell you. I don't remember when made us start talking. I don't remember.
Oh
but something happened to where we had to start talking.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it was like a rocky road.
Yeah.
But now she's A-okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was my turn. Mine. Oh no, it wasn't that easy.
Your mom's a pastor, right?
My mom is a pastor.
Okay.
I grew up in the church. My stepdad's a deacon.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't as easy. It was weird 'cause I feel like I had to come out like over and over and over and over. Like she didn't believe me the first time, so then I had to hide it. And then I told her again, and she believed me, and I had to hide it again.
Oh
like,
my God.
So I'm trying to think of like where to start. Like, so first of all, I didn't come out; I was outed. To start there.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, my mom was like sick a lot. Like she was always in the hospital and like in rehab, not like drug rehab, but like she had strokes and stuff. So she would have to learn how to walk and stuff again. So she was always like gone a lot.
You cannot tell. Your mom looks good.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry, his mom looks really good to have one.
So I don't know if it was any relation, but like after she had me, the doctor told her she couldn't have any more kids, and then she ended up having 2 more. So and then after she had my sister, she had a stroke, and then she got better. And then she had my other sister. She had another stroke. And she got like blood clots. She just had like a lot of medical issues. So she was always in the hospital a lot during my schooling. So this particular time, like she was in the hospital, I joined a dance team at school. And then she got out. And so then one day, random day, she came up to the school. And mind you, I didn't know she was coming. She's been in the hospital, so no one's ever met my mom. No one's ever seen my mom. So we're in the room dancing. And she goes, and she's just standing by the door. I didn't even know she was there. And
you was showing out, huh? You was letting them have it.
Child. So one of the girl that was over the dance team was like asking her like, oh hey, like, are you? She was like, oh, I'm just watching, like I'm just looking. She goes, do y'all have any gay boys in y'all on your dance team? And you know that girl looked over at me and said, "Oh, him," and pointed to me.
Did you fight her?
I didn't know until afterwards. So then I saw my mom up there and I'm like, "What's she doing here?" Whatever. And then she told me like later on when we was at home, and I was just like, I don't know why she would say that. Like, what? Like, trying to play it off and stuff. And it was just crazy. So then, maybe a little bit later after that, we had a dance show. And I had a boyfriend, and he was there. And we get outside after the show, and it's all this commotion in the parking lot. The boy and my mom is sitting there screaming and yelling, arguing with each other. Like, going back and forth because he telling her, like, "I'm with your son." And she telling him, "No, you ain't." Like, it was a mess.
The people out you left and right.
A mess. And it was literally so bad to the point where my mom literally like took my phone and made me delete all the boys' numbers.
Oh my God.
In my phone. Like, when I say traumatic.
Did you notice she said all the boys?
Oh.
First of all, don't do that. I had male friends.
If y'all remember. If you've been watching.
Yes. Don't do that. No. But like anybody like that she even thought was gay, like she was like delete. No, and no, it wasn't even delete. I had to call them and tell them that I can't talk to you no more. Don't call me no more. Like it was that bad. It was pretty bad.
Mama ain't playing.
So mind you, when I left for college, oh baby, I'm going to the furthest place I can go. So literally the only school I applied for was UNLV, and I was like,
that's fine.
I'm out of here.
5-hour plane ride.
Out of here. So then, even after that,
Jesus.
Yeah, it was bad. So even like before that, like before I moved away, she would like take me to these pastors at church and make me talk to them, and it was bad. It was.
They were trying to sleep with you too.
They wasn't trying to sleep with me. No. But it was like when you're gay, you know other gay people.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, he can't tell me about not being gay, cause he gay. I don't know how you can't see it, but he gay. And like, and it wasn't just like one person. I mean, like multiple people. I'm like, these people are gay. Like, they can't tell me about not being gay. So I don't know, but yeah, it was a struggle. And then I didn't talk to my dad for a long time because she would always tell me like, "Oh, if your dad found out, he's not gonna like this and all this and that." So I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him for a long time. And it wasn't like I moved to Vegas, and then one day like me and him finally talked, and he was like, "Why don't you talk to me? Like, why don't you call me? Why don't you answer my calls?" And so I told him, and he was like, "Why would you think that? Like, I've never made you think that I would treat you any different." And which is weird because like usually it's the fathers who act that way and the mothers are okay with it. But for me, it was the opposite. Like, my dad was a rapper and like he played like instruments. He was like a jazz musician and stuff like that. So he didn't care. He was like, as long as you happy, as long as you safe, like I don't care. But yeah, and then so the she never really got okay with it. Like I'm trying to think of like when the turn happened, but it took a long time because then I moved to Vegas and I had my boyfriend and I went back home for the summer one time, and this is after I had dropped out of school, and she found out I dropped out of school. She found out I had a boyfriend. She looked through my camera, seen our pictures together and stuff. She took my ID, took like my social security card, like took all my stuff on my wallet so that I wouldn't go back. I thought I lost it. I didn't know she did this, mind you. I didn't know she did this until like a couple years later. She gave it back to me. I'm like, you had it all this time?
A couple years.
So she literally like, I thought I lost my wallet, but she took it. And so I wouldn't go back to Vegas. But I ended up going back. Like, I literally called the airport and was like, I lost my wallet. Like, what I got to do? And I ended up going back to Vegas. So she found out I came back to Vegas. She was so mad. We didn't talk for 6 months. We didn't talk for like 6 months, like literally. And then, yeah, we just never like, we just like didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about me being gay. We didn't talk about like anything like that. And then I was getting married. And so my thing was, I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I'm not going to tell her. I just wasn't going to tell her. And my husband was like, you have to tell her.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not telling her. I was like, if you want to tell her, you tell her. And he called her and told her. He called her and told her, and she swore he was trying to kill her. Oh my God. I'm in a hospital. Why would you tell me that?
God.
It was quite dramatic. But she ended up coming to the wedding.
She did.
She did.
And she did good.
She ended up coming to the wedding. She did good.
I was dancing and smiling.
Yeah. So now, I would say now it's better. But it's 2023. This all started in like 2002. Like, it's been a long journey. It's been a very long journey, and yeah, like honestly, she's like the hardest person to like deal with it with. Like everybody else is like
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever, fine. Like, I mean, I got church people in my family, but they're like, well, they ain't my son. Like they ain't like whatever. We pray for you, but yeah, like yeah, it's been a struggle. Well, that was traumatic. Wow, we got no more shots.
Scared to tell y'all my story.
What's your story?
We need to talk about this because the people out there, is somebody out there who's scared to come out or who's dealing with the same thing, and now they know they're not alone.
They're not.
You know what I mean? So it's good. It's good.
Senior year.
Why y'all start so late? You know, I don't understand. You was out of school. You was a senior. I was in like the 10th grade.
I was able to play mines off longer than you were.
Okay.
She started early too.
Started early.
Again, if y'all remember other episodes.
Yeah, this is true.
But senior year, I want to say it was maybe 2 months before I graduated, because it was towards the end of the year. I had a boyfriend at this time, which if y'all watched our
Your
first
DL
times
boyfriend
episode, I talked about. Yeah, but needless to say, on one specific night, I was in the bed on the phone cupcaking. It's like 11:30. You know, you fall asleep on the phone. I had actually fallen asleep on the phone.
Was this the house phone?
No, this was my cell phone.
Yeah.
But in our house, I had a desktop computer. My mom had a laptop.
Okay.
The desktop was mine.
Y'all was rich.
So we had a desktop.
Well, AOL dial-up.
Well, for whatever reason, my mom felt the need to go on my desktop, and my Facebook was already like logged in.
Mm-hmm.
So she got nosy and she started going through my DMs, and
She's seen all this stuff.
she saw a whole lot of old shit. Cause you know, this was like I was with somebody at this time, but she was scrolling and she saw a whole bunch of old shit. So this is maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. She burst into my room. Mind you, I fell asleep on the phone with somebody. He on the phone asleep too. But she burst into the room like, what the, you know, like going off. So I hurry up and I hang up the phone. I don't want, you know, yeah, but needless to say, she went off. She like called the entire family at like 1 in the morning. You know, you get a phone call at 1 in the morning from, you know.
You think somebody done died?
Exactly. Nope, it's just Devin. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to do that just because, similar to you, I had to live with her. It was the end of senior year, so I didn't really have nowhere to go. Like, and it was like that week or that 2 weeks, she took my phone from me, so I couldn't really communicate with nobody. I used to sneak into the cafeteria at school to call my little boyfriend and, you know, just to say, hey, like, I'm cool, like, because when I got home, it was lockdown.
He didn't go to school with you?
No. He went to another magnet school.
I just make sure he went out of school.
No, magnet school. She had pastors flying into town to pray over me and rub me down with holy oil and all kind of stuff too. Like, and it's just to this day, like, those specific people similar to you, you know, you just kind of look at them, not to say that they were gay, but like, you'll just always look at them a little different.
Yeah.
You know, so, but what I will say is, once that night happened, like, I just had confidence in being openly gay, because at that point it was just like I didn't have to hide from anybody. Like, majority of my family was cool with it. I mean, not cool with it, but they didn't, you know, trip. They was just like, okay, Dev, like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. My grandma, she still ain't really on the board. She bought me a Bible actually that year for Christmas. Yeah, and a book about something about how to be a man or something like that. Yeah, so she still, you know, it hasn't really come along, but she now understands. I would believe that I'm an adult. You know, I moved out of my mom's house when I graduated. You know, and that was kind of like the turning point in our relationship, because she had to realize that I was going to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I became independent to where I didn't really ask her for nothing. And yeah, now it's just kind of like...
Yeah. That's interesting you said your grandmother did that. I have never had the conversation with my grandmother or my uncle.
Really?
Yeah. Like, still to this day. Mind you, like, they know my husband. They you know love him and you know all that. They met other boyfriends I've had. Like they know the people, but I've never had the actual conversation with them. Of like, okay,
yeah, that's so great. Well, my mom's mom, she passed away when I was young, but my dad's mom, I know she's met my husband. Oh my gosh, so I know she know because so before my mom knew we were together. We used to go back home and he used to come with me and stuff like that. And one day he was cooking and my grandma came over and she goes, "Oh, you got you a good one." And I was just like, like I didn't even know. I didn't even like respond. I was just so shocked that she even said that. I was like, oh my god! But I know she knew because even before like everything like blew up. I was over her house one day and one of her friends was like asking me about like girls and all this stuff and she was like, leave him alone, like leave him alone, like stop bothering him. So like I know she knew, but yeah, like that's crazy. And it's also weird because y'all had to live with y'all parents afterwards. Like I lived with my mom throughout high school, but like when I really came out to her and was like, look, this is who I am, like this is what it is. I was out here, so I never had to live with this, so it was kind of weird for me because for a long time, I always felt like I was like hiding from them. You know what I mean? I got 2 Facebook pages. Like just everything is. I was always been so separate. So when I go home, I feel like I don't even know y'all. Like y'all don't even know me. Like I don't know. It's weird sometimes. Yeah.
Like for the longest, I had always felt like the outside person of my family because like with my family, outside of recently, I had been the only gay person in my family. So like there was nobody else who was gay that I could be like, oh, okay, I got a gay cousin. Well, now I have a younger cousin who is gay and that's come out. But like
how does the family treat them?
I think it's different because I've been there already. So his mom, I love her, like she's my first cousin or whatever. And she's been supportive since day one, so I absolutely love her. So for him, I know their relationship was like super easy. But I think for the rest of the family, because I've been out for so long, I think for him to come out, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's not a big thing anymore. Yeah. But I think for me, it was just like it was huge because after coming out, I found out like ever since I was a kid, me being gay was a topic of conversation for everyone from church to being in school to just anyone.
Now imagine if you wasn't gay.
I know. I know. So it's interesting of like that this has been a thing. Yeah. And so I guess that's why my family was kind of like, okay. Yeah. Like it is what it is because they expected it or because it was a topic, in the back of their mind, they're like, maybe it is. Yeah. But it wasn't like a pressure of like, they never said anything to me or made me feel any way. But I think because I knew I wasn't like everyone else, I automatically had like this reservedness of myself of like, I feel a little different than everybody else. I don't know what it is, but I feel different.
Yeah. Do you have any gay cousins or family members?
I don't. Really? Actually, I have an older distant cousin, but she hasn't really been around since I was like 5. So for me, it's just kind of like I was the first one, and then on top of that, I was the first grandchild. I'm my mom's only child, you know. So I just kind of felt like for a while, that was a lot of the reason why it took me so long to come out, because I felt like I had to be this. Yeah. I had to be the man of the family in a sense, you know. So then it was like when I did come out, and a lot of my friends still were my friends. My family didn't really treat me no different. And then especially once me and my mom's relationship got back on, it was like I can still be the man of the family, but I can like who I like. You know, I can do what I want to do. Yeah. So I think that for me, if I do happen to have younger people, you know, because I do have younger cousins, I don't have brothers and sisters, but if they were to come out, you know, I would want them to feel comfortable enough to at least tell me. And I would want my family to kind of reflect on how fragile our relationship was when, you know, I came out. Like, I don't want them to go through the same thing.
It's weird. Like, sometimes in my family, like, I feel like my family is very, As long as it's not mine, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I have other gay cousins, and from my perspective, no one gives them any grief but their parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so like my mom's cool with all my gay, she love all my friends, but then with me, it's like I get the third degree, and then like even like with my family and stuff, it's the same way. But I can remember having a Uncle Kiva, and I don't know where she at or who she is, but I promise you, I remember it so vaguely. Like when I was little, we would always go to this lady house, and they used to call him her Uncle Kiva. So I don't know if she was trans, or I don't know where she at now. I don't know what happened. Girl, if you out there,
oh my god,
I don't know if you still with us, because I don't know where she at.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. So I'm like, I wasn't the first. That's why I said that today. I know I wasn't the first, but I don't know. I just feel like they would have been more accepting of the younger, like me, like Vance, like all my cousins and stuff. Like there's a bunch of us. But I don't know. Maybe they got into church a little bit more.
And it's weird because like, so my aunt who outed me or whatever, she's not my biological aunt. Like she's my mom's best friend, but she's my godmom's sister.
Okay.
And so I've always grown up with their family. So that's my aunt or whatever. But her brother, before he passed away when I was younger, he was gay and he passed away from AIDS, and so. It's like he's been there, like and people like everybody loves him.
Yeah.
So it was weird of like even my mom, she loved him. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, it's weird at like you said, it's
like why you give me all this extra? Yeah.
Like why me? Like so.
Yeah. Sometimes people just when they're not familiar with stuff or they don't know, like they kind of treat it a little differently.
It's very interesting.
It is. Well, that's our coming out stories. Jesus, we need some therapy.
I know.
Y'all let us know y'all coming out stories. Hopefully, we inspire some of y'all to share your stories or to not feel so alone out there. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Send us videos. Send us all kinds of stuff. Let us know about you and your experiences. So, until next week, thanks for watching another episode of The Mix. I'm Steven.
I'm Dev.
And I'm Keith.
See y'all next week.
Bye.